one thing that we're doing in the Gears beta is the fact that there are those 2 maps that are definitely shipping, Checkout and Thrashball, but the other 2 maps are going to be decided by the community out of a pool of 4.
When you looked at the beta, we were seeing we have 6 maps contenders, and there's 2 we want for sure. One is Checkout. This is one of our favorites at the studio. It's small, really shows off that intimate combat with the retro and the sawed-off shotgun. And then the Thrashball Arena, which is sort of Cole's home stadium. And we wanted that because that's sort of the theme for the beta. We got the Hanover Cougars, it's all about Thrashball Cole. So we're bringing those 2, and then we're going to let the fans decide on the other 2 out of the 4. And so if they just go to the Gears of War Facebook page, they can actually vote over this weekend and help us decide. So we have Overpass, which is sort of a Jacinto-themed map that actually sinks over the course of the match, and water will flow down the streets and will actually expose the hollow. It doesn't change the playing field, but just the visuals around it, which is really cool. Then we have Mercy, which is sort of this open, more Spanish map that has lots of foliage, and it's a little bit like Gridlock in that it's got a lot of low cover and open spaces, but it's a lot of fun to play on. Then we have Trenches, which is sort of this Locust-themed map, where it's got a dust storm that blows in and you can't see, so that one's a lot of fun too. Lastly is Old Town, which is this map that's around this fishing village kind of feel to it, and it's got cobblestone streets and a lot of nooks and crannies. It's really great for the territorial game types like King of the Hill and Capture the Leader. A lot of fun.
So in this beta, there's several things to remember. If you're a traditional Gears player, the first thing you need to know is that we've changed some of the controls slightly. In order to pick up weapons now, you need to hold the X button, not just tap it. In addition to that, when you take somebody as a mute flag, as a hostage, it's now on the X button instead of the A button, because we found players were doing accidental rolls in a lot of previous Gears games. On top of that, there's a lot of strategy with the different weapons that ship in the beta. The sawed-off shotgun is an extremely powerful weapon, but you need to be right on top of your enemies to do it. However, if you have a guy that's reviving another guy or a couple of enemies that are near each other, you can actually jib 3 or 4 guys at the same time, which is incredibly gratifying. Keep in mind though, the reload for that weapon is incredibly long. On top of that, we have the Retro Lancer, which is the early version of our classic chainsaw gun. It has a bayonet on the end, and if you hold B, you can do a bayonet charge where your character screams and spears people. Remember, you get extra XP points for doing those kills as well as executing people, so you're going to want to do those this time around. On top of all this, we also have the one-shot, which is what I like to call the elephant gun. It's a very heavy weapon that has a sniper scope on it. If you can manage to get that laser scope on somebody for about 3/4 of a second, you'll hear a beep, pull the trigger, and then you pink miss them.
So, I mean, one of the things we really want to do with the beta is provide players an unlock that they can actually take into the final game with them. And so that's a part of a big thing. When you look at Gears of War 3 overall, unlocking characters, character variants, weapon skins, medals that give you a title in multiplayer, these are all things we wanted to build into sort of our level progression in the game. So 2 of the big ones are Thrashball Cole. So we have a Cole variant that's him in his football uniform, Thrashball uniform. And so if you play a certain amount of matches and then you play as him for a little bit, you'll actually get to keep that on day 1 when you buy the game. And our big one is the Golden Retro Lancers. And so if you play like 90 matches in the beta, you'll actually unlock this. And then if you kill like 100 people with it, it'll be yours. On September 20th, you open the box, put it in, there's your gold retro that you can go and own people with.
The beta will be coming out roughly around mid-April. We're still ironing out what the exact date's going to be. The game will actually be coming out on September 20th, 2011. Really nice to finally have that release date. And you can check out more on Gears of War 3 at IGN.com.
Oh, shit.